We just had a customer that came in with 2 Land Rover fobs. This is for the 2005 LR3 Land Rover, and he brought in 2 fobs. He replaced the batteries on both of them, and now both of them are not working. And these are the only keys that he has for the vehicle, and he wants it done as soon as possible. Let's check fob number 1. He said the batteries are brand new. So I have a fob tester here. So we're gonna test the fob to see if there's any output. 0. Button number 2, 0, and button number 3, 0. So there is absolutely no output on the fob tester. Let's take a look at the fob and see what's going on. This is the battery, and customer said this is a brand new battery, although we do see some residue here. I do not know what this is, but let's inspect the board and see if everything looks good. This side of the board looks good. I do not see anything obvious. I do not see any components missing. Flip the board. Our coil. And this one looks empty by default. Same with this one. This cap does not look so good. We'll test and make sure that there's no short on this cap. We do see corrosion or liquid damage here. Pins are possibly connecting to each other. Look at this. We're gonna have to clean this. This is one of the solder joints for the battery. And the second one is right over here. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Component is totally out of place. So we're gonna have to clean this chip. This is where the programming resides. We will check on this cap and make sure it's good. It's discolored from here, but that doesn't mean that the cap is not good. But as long as the cap is not shorting to ground, then it's good. Anything else missing? I'm just looking for missing components. We're gonna have to fix this, fix the joint here, fix the other joint. This one looks empty by default. I mean, I do not see that there's any ring or something to solder that battery onto. It's totally gone. And what's this? I think this should connect with this. What a mess. Let me look at the other fob and try to make out what's going on here. Yeah, you see? One end of the battery connector should connect to this line here. Let's check this in continuity mode. I mean, it's always nice to have another key to compare things to. Let's see from here to here. Yes. So this does connect with this. So this is the second fob here. Let's take a look and see if we find any damage. Chip looks clean. This is probably Flux. We have a ring to solder onto. That's good. Okay, so why don't we start with this fob here? We do not know if the battery is soldered on properly, if it's making a good connection. But look at the soldering job on this fob. I'm going to start with this one here. So what I'm going to do is use this blue tack and put this over it so we can hold it down in place. I do not want to use a board holder for this tiny board, so now it's solid. And let's do it. Look at this, we see a burn mark here as well, but that's only the plastic, so not a problem. Okay, so I add a big blob here. And very nice. Very nice. Let's move on to joint number 2. And let's see how that will turn out. We're gonna test from this point here onto this point. Very good. It's making a good connection. And this one looks like it's connecting to this 0 ohm resistor on the right. Very nice. So the battery is making a good connection. Fob number 1 should be good. So let's go ahead and test. The meter should output about 314, 315 if the button is functional. Look at that. 314.8. 314.8. Let's test button number 2. 315.1. And then we're gonna test button number 3. 315.1. So the fob is fully functional. We fixed one of the fobs. Let's move on to fixing fob number 2, and we're gonna call the customer to come and pick up tomorrow. Is the microphone working? Yeah. Like I said, the customer cannot use the car without those fobs, and both of them are not working. Fob number 1 was a quick fix, and hopefully we can do the same for fob number 2. I do not want to expose the board to heat, so maybe we can fix this 0 ohm resistor using a soldering iron. And maybe we can hold that component down in place like this while we work on it. Very nice. I'm trying to avoid using hot air so we do not damage anything on the board. If the customer went to Land Rover to get a fob, it's gonna be at least $700. Let's fix this joint here. Okay, and let's do the second one. Let's use this fine steel brush to just clean up the area and see what's going on. I do not see a ring on the board to solder that leg to. Look at this, it's totally gone. Totally gone. So we're gonna apply a solder blob on here so this leg does not go loose. The solder blob on the leg will hold it so it doesn't fall down. And then we're gonna solder a wire from here to here, or we can use this very same wire and solder it onto that blob. Just like that. That should do it. Let's measure between here and here. Very nice. One other thing we need to do is clean up that chip that had corrosion on it. This one right here, and we're gonna test that cap. Let's use our fine steel brush so we can brush off any oxidation. And that's what I like about this brush is one side, it's a hard brush but not very hard, but it's hard enough to clean, and the other end is the fine steel brush. I use it to clean oxidation, brush off rust, or hard to remove residue on the board. Like always, you can find this brush on our site. on our website. So right now I do not see anything else wrong with the board, but I'm just curious to what this is here. Pin is solid, so let's not worry about it. And before I forget, I want to test to see if this cap is good. Okay, so the cap is good. It's not shorting out. We gonna test, and maybe we can test right here. And nothing. Nothing. The fob is not functional. Yeah, it's not working. So let's see if we can figure this out. I mean, this end of the battery is good. Look at this. It's perfectly soldered on. And this 0 ohm component is also soldered on nicely. We did a very good job. Look at this from both ends, just like factory. Look at the factory and look at ours. Ours is more shiny, so better than factory. This is good, but the one that may not be functional is this one here. That's the one that we may be having problems with. What if we measure both ends of the battery and see what voltage we get? Maybe the battery is not good. Three volts, so voltage is good. We have 3 volts here, and we should have 3 volts here. Yes, 3 volts. Okay, so no problems. So what's going on? What is going on? Why can't you be like your brother? Your brother fob, where we fixed it in no time. Why can't you be like that? Meter in continuity mode. Turned off fume extractor onto this point, and it's making a connection. So what is the problem? I do not like the way this looks. Okay, so we do not have a pad here. That's what I see. I see that we do not have a pad here. Or the pad was just hanging in there. Look at that. No pad. It's a good thing we caught it. Totally gone. It was just hanging in there, and the pad was not making a connection. So what we have to do is we have to run a wire from here to this line here. So this should connect with this. Hopefully this component is still good. This component wanna play games. Okay. No problem. No problem. Fume extractor on, and you know what? I'm not gonna give you any flux. I'm just gonna solder you with alcohol on the board. What do you think about that? No flux for you. You wanna play games? No flux for you. And I kinda feel bad not giving that component flux, so let me add some flux. I may be rough on the outside, but I'm very soft on the inside, so it's okay, let's give it flux. So right now it's 6:07. We close at 6. So this will be the last repair for the day. Do we have a working fob? And look at that, the fob tester wanna play games now. Battery is dead. Are you kidding me? Okay. All right, 314.8. Button number 2. And button number 2 is not working. 0. Button number 3. So only one button is working. Let's test the other fob. Make sure all 3 buttons are working. Button number 1 is good. Button number 2 is good. And button number 3 is good. So why is this one only one button is working? Button number 1 is working. Number 2 is not working. And number 3 is not working. Let's see what's going on. So button number 1, this one here, is working. Button number 2 is here. What's connecting with button number 2? So the way I see it is, the button is likely going to this component. This component is going to this component onto here, which leads us to here. So maybe we have a connection problem. Unless this component is bad. Let's test now to see. Button number 1 is working. Button number 2 is not working. And button number 3 is not working. So it must be that component that's bad. It's likely that this component is bad. MC72. I want to measure this component in diode mode and see what we get. Ground 0.1 and OL. And what if we press that button? .1. If we press the button, it goes down to 0. And that's with the battery connected. Let's do the same thing here. We should get a reading of 0.1, and when we press the button it should go down to 0, but right now we are getting OL. We're not getting 0.1, so it's not even making a connection. Not even making a connection. This is good. This is okay, but this one is not making a connection. You see, when we press the button, nothing is happening. I mean, right now this pin is ground. When we press the button, this pin should short out with this pin. And that's not happening. So this is faulty. Look at the other fob. Watch, when I press the button, see? So that's our problem. That's our problem. The marking on this is MC72. This is probably some type of voltage detector. Let me go to S manuals. Let's look here. If we go to MC, Okay, it's not the 323. SOT23, most likely a voltage detector or voltage regulator. Okay, so we're gonna have to find this chip. Let me know what you think this chip is. I'm gonna have to find it and extract it from one of the boards that we have. If I cannot find it, then we're gonna have to order one or get a donor board and extract it from that donor board. But that's it for now. We fixed one fob and this one is almost fixed. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and we'll do something else in the next video. At least the customer can drive his vehicle now with one of the fobs.